Well, now that I'm keeping a little gay diary, I guess I'll go and tell a couple of Tinder stories. And it took me a while to really remember these. I just sat around and tried remembering what happened. I've used dating apps, like a handful of them, and I've used Tinder back when Tinder was somewhat new. This was over a decade ago. And I've been on a handful of Tinder dates. I mean, more than a handful, really. And some ended up being okay, and some were like the nightmare, like the worst nightmare. Like even now, I think about it, and I just cringe. And I'm gonna tell the worst one. So I'm driving around. It's the middle of the day. I think I don't think I worked that day. I was just driving in my Oldsmobile 88. I used to have a white 88, and that car was great. And so that was the best car I've ever owned, by the way. So comfortable. It was great. And it was quiet, too. Anyway, I was driving, and I got a notification on my phone. And so I looked down, and I just saw some girl just matched with me on Tinder. And so I'm like driving and like drinking a soda in my car, and like so I'm like doing three things at once, and I'm not really looking at the phone. I'm just like, oh yeah, look, I matched with someone, and I'm not. I was one of those people that just like hyper swiped right on it. I was just like, okay, yeah, yeah, and then I would just like put it down and not work, because it only, even then it only let you do it but so much. It was still free at the time, but it only let you use it but so much before you had to stop. And so I just swipe right a bunch of times on it to see who I would match with, just for fun. Even if it was like the biggest ogre in the world, I wouldn't care. I just wouldn't talk to him. And so I match with somebody, and she immediately sends me a message, just like hi, type of shit. And so I'm like, hey, what's up? Oh, are you busy right now? And she's like, no. And I'm like, you want to meet up for coffee? And like, what about like in an hour? Just like an hour from now. I'm like just doing all this like on the fly. And she's like, yeah, okay. So I told her to meet me at a Starbucks nearby, and it was just at sunset. And so I drive to the Starbucks, and then she says, oh, I'm wearing whatever it was. I'm wearing a blah, blah, black sweater. I'll be sitting on the patio. So I'm like, all right. So I pull up, and the only person sitting outside on the patio, I see her from far away. And so I parked my Oldsmobile within, had I parked on the other side of the building, I think I would have been okay. But I didn't. I parked right where she could see me. I keep saying she. And so, and so I get out of the car, and like right whenever by the time I close the door and I just like look, I'm like, that's a dude. That's just a straight up dude. That's a dude in a wig and wearing girls' clothes. And then like right in like every part of my body was just like turn around, get back in the car, start it up, and leave. But and then by that time he's like looking right at me. And I'm just like, I don't know why. I mean, I guess maybe because I didn't want to cause a scene. There's a bunch of people around, and I'll just like just get back in the car. So I would just like, and I'm just like on auto. My legs are just on autopilot. I just had like extreme fight or flight response, and then like I just feel like all tensed up, and just feel like my vision is getting all weird, and like my heart is pounding, and I'm just walking up there, and I just do this like half-ass wave as I walk up there, and then like I walk, it was so bad. Like I was just like, fuck you. That's all I was really thinking. I was just like, kind of pissed off and nervous at the same time. And so I walk up on the patio, and it's this obvious, and it's like this dude. He's like 6 foot tall, and the whole time I'm thinking, why didn't I notice that in the pic? I guess I just wasn't looking. I was just like, I guess I wasn't thinking like I have to go through the trannies. Yeah. And then, like, I don't know, it just was way likely for you to encounter a tranny on a dating app. You think that would get filtered out. It's just bullshit. Anyway, it's way worse now. I haven't used a dating app in years, but I'm pretty sure it's worse now. Like, they do that shit on purpose to fuck with you. And he could tell that I was just like nervous. I just like the look on his face. He just knew I was just like, eh. And I was just like, hey, what's up? Hey, I'm gonna get some coffee. You know, you want something? And he's like, and he, of course, he had that weird, you know, fake girl voice. It was really bad. And so I walk in, I walk inside, and so like I get a coffee. He said he didn't want any, and so I just get a coffee for myself. Thank God. And I'm just like, oh, what do I do? I can just run out the other door and then run around and then run to the car and just get in and go. And I was just like, no. I was like, no, I'm being ridiculous. I need to just go out there and just be a gentleman, just be real, and just be like, oh, you know, I didn't know it was like this, and hey, I'm not trying to be rude, but sorry, this is my fault. I should have been paying attention. I didn't know that you were a man or whatever. And then I'll just go. It won't be a big deal. But I was just like, no, he's gonna get. In my head, I'm playing it all out hyper fast. Like, oh, he's gonna get super pissed off, and then it'll be way worse if I do that. But so just in my panic, I go out there and I sit down. I'm just like drinking my coffee. So I'm just like engaging a small talk with this dude dressed up like a girl. I'm pretty sure it was a wig, like a black wig. And and so I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna exit this, but I think I made small talk for like 40 seconds or some shit, and then I put my phone down in front of me, and then there's somebody texted me. It was one of my buddies, and as soon as it did that, I like opened it up and I looked at it, and I was like, oh, this. I just made some excuse. I wasn't like lame excuse. I was like, I gotta go. Yeah, is it? You know, it's something serious. I gotta go. And he's just like, okay, you know, just like knew. It was so depressing. And so I just got back in the car and just like, I remember just feeling like clammy, just like having sweat all over my hands, and like I was just still like shaking from like the adrenaline dump. Like that was horrible. Like what a nightmare. I'm sure just my facial expression, just like my body language, just like probably made him feel like shit real bad. Like I don't know what. I still can't really explain that. And then like as I'm driving, I just like, you know, block on the phone. And then this was, I should have just gave up. I should have gave up using Tinder right then. But like I've actually been on a handful of Tinder dates back then, and one that happened not too long after this. I guess it was like payback or something for me. Well, I mean, I say payback jokingly. It's not like I did anything wrong there. I don't think. I should have just left, but anyway, I matched with some girl, actual girl, and I meet her at this like Japanese fusion place, the sushi place I would go to. But no, before that, she would call whenever I matched with her. She would call me and like text me these long ass winded messages. She was a few years older than me. I think I was like 25, 26 at the time, and she was damn near 30. And she would send me these like long ass messages, and I'm just like, what? And like we had known each other for a long time type of shit. And then she would call me. I gave her my number, you know, and she would call me up. She was like, hey, I'm about to go to bed. I'm going to call you before I go to bed so I can talk. And then I swear to God, she would call me and then just like have these long ass discussions, just like stuff, really personal stuff, and about her mom and stuff like that. And I was just like, this weird. I was like, oh, okay, I was just rolling with it. And I was like, I don't know, like, is she not on her medication or something? And after a few days of doing this, then we finally were going to meet up. And, you know, we go to the Japanese fusion place, and I'm there first. So I'm sitting in a booth, and like she can see my pictures. She can see my name, pictures, my phone, the phone number, all that. So I don't know why she was confused about who I was or something. So she's I see her walking up to the table, and I wave to her, and she walks over, and then she just has like this weird, she almost pauses and has this like weird look on her face, and she's like, And I was like, and I immediately was like, I was like, what's up? Why are you doing that face? She was like, oh, nothing. And she like sits down and just looks like defeated. And I was like, no, that's not nothing. I was like, why? Like you look surprised or something. What's wrong? And she was like, no, nothing. And so we go to order food, and she just orders like a drink. She doesn't even, and I'm like, this isn't right. And I keep on thinking I should just go to the bathroom and just dip. You know what I mean? Like I kept on thinking that I was gonna do that, and I was like, no, it's all right. And so like I just went back out there and yeah, we ended up just like having a drink or something. I think I got like an appetizer or something. Then we talked to each other for a little while. And then she just told me just politely that she wants to go, and I was like, okay. I was like, I wish you would tell me what the problem is. She was like, no, and then she like just leaves. It was exactly like my tranny date, and I was like, I don't know what that she could. It was me and we had been talking to each other for days, so it's not like she was doing this in the moment's notice and not looking at my pic. She could see exactly what I looked like, and I just had like candid pictures. There weren't pictures that I took. They were like candid pictures of me. It was just like me, and she could see who I was, all that shit. And so like I still don't really if I had to guess, I would say that like she thought I was just a specific person, and that's why she was like, oh, it's this guy, blah blah blah. And that's the only thing I can think of. I don't know. That was bizarre. But yeah, using Tinder was like it's the most degenerate thing. And but I think the last time I actually went on a date from a dating app, it was like back then. It was probably like 8 or 9 years ago, and I don't recommend it. I don't think that you're gonna, and I guess I have mixed feelings about it, because there's some people that really do. They're like, whoa, that's just the way it is. Everyone dates with a dating app now. I mean, but at the same time, I'm like, if you're just like a regular dude, if you're regular looking, and you're not like this social butterfly person that has all these super interesting pictures. I mean, like even if I don't know, I feel like you could have interesting pictures, but if it just don't look a certain way, like you're just not going to get any responses. I think the last time I used a dating app was not too long ago. I tried using, I think I used Tinder for the hell of it, like maybe 6 years ago, and I didn't get a single match on there. One really blackpilling thing was whenever I lived at my last apartment. Back then, this was during all the Tinder stuff that I was doing. I had eHarmony. eHarmony was like, I don't know if you know what it is, but it's like the more serious one. It's like a paid subscription thing, and I was just like, oh, this is what people do now, you know. Tinder is just what people, just degenerates do to hook up with each other and to meet trannies and stuff. And so I had the paid account on there, and I used it for, I mean, I was like a tryhard on there. I put what I think is like appropriate pictures, like me wearing polos and shit, and me just doing like normal stuff. Had other people take, and like I had pictures taken with one of my friends taking a couple of pictures of me, like just for that, so it would look like normal. Lighting is good and stuff. And I was doing what I thought was normal, what a normal person would do. And let me tell you, through the subscription thing was like for a year. I want to say it was either 6 months or a year. Maybe it was, it was like 6 months, something like that. And the entire time, I didn't get a single match. Not one. And I wouldn't just be, girls on dating apps always say, "Don't just say hi. Don't just send me a message that just says hi," even though that's what they do, obviously. And like these would be normal responses that a real person would do, not one. To the point I was like, you think one person, this has never happened before. You think one person would have sent a reply just out of curiosity or just to say hi back or something? Nope. That was extremely demoralizing. And like I had ever since then I hadn't used like until recent years I hadn't used it in that long. And then the last time I used a dating app, which was whenever I lived at this house, so yeah, 6 years ago. I didn't get a single match either. Not one. And again, it doesn't matter. It like just that downward, no reply, like no contact type of non-interaction is just becoming normal, in a very scary way.